What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And coming from the issues of Daredevil, we have Devil's Reign, a brand new Marvel event, and this will be issue number 2. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with this line, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. Be sure to check out Devil's Reign issue number 1 and go back and check out all of the Daredevil issues leading up to this point. And what Chip Zdarsky has shown us so far is a Civil War 2.0 or 3.0, depending on your perspective of the Civil Wars. With Wilson Fisk, the former kingpin of crime and now current mayor of New York City, he has made a very bold political move, and that is outlawing superhero vigilantism inside the city limits, with him deputizing a new team of supervillainous Thunderbolts. These are the ones that are supposed to maintain law and order alongside NYPD. With many of our heroes either arrested or on the run, this is just the beginning of Wilson Fisk and Dr. Octopus's plans. And so with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into issue number 2, we are picking up with Danny Rand, aka no longer the Iron Fist. He is now just Rand, Danny Rand of Rand Corporation. And right now he is on the phone with Luke and Jessica. They of course are concerned about his well-being, with them going around and rounding up superheroes, especially when they already have the identity of them. Now Danny, he's not really too concerned about this because he's no longer the Iron Fist, believing he doesn't have anything to worry about. That is when his door gets kicked down and one of the Thunderbolt units is right there. And this Thunderbolt unit is led by Crossbones. Now Danny may no longer be the Iron Fist, but it doesn't mean he doesn't know how to fight. And so with him trying to fight his way out of this, that is where we pick up with Wilson Fisk and Elektra, with her currently still dressing up as Daredevil, trying to follow the path of Matthew, being the only individual to know his true identity. She has come here to ask Wilson Fisk, what the F are you doing? Because he knows at the end of the day that none of this will stand. This being a very desperate play, and the people that he is going against, these guys have the power of gods, with the mayor knowing that if they decide to have an all-out attack against Fisk, that it is only going to look poorly against them, and the people will side with him. And that is what he is hoping for. He is hoping that he can get the people on his side, show that the superheroes, the vigilantism, that is the problem with New York. If he can get the populace to turn against the heroes, he wins. Now Elektra really wants to do what she is best at, and that is assassination, but trying to go down this new path, trying not to kill and live by the code of Matthew. She is not willing to break that code. The thing about Fisk is he has been keeping dossiers on everyone. He even has it on Elektra. He knows her true identity, and though he doesn't really have much use for this information, he knows individuals who do, telling her that the Hand wants a meetup. Now, of course, Elektra absolutely freaking out, worried that the Daredevil might figure out what she did, how she betrayed Matthew. If he finds out about this, she will lose everything. And so she makes her escape. With Typhoid Mary and Thunderbolts right on her tail, she jumps out the window and is able to get away, taking us to Avengers Mansion. This place has mostly been a museum, but there is a secret location underneath that has been unused for quite some time. And so for the time being, this is where our heroes are going to take the opportunity to hide out. And as they approach the mansion, they see a couple of kids, and these kids start recording, because we're talking about Luke Cage, Tony Stark, Captain America, they don't really see, but it's Daredevil. Just a ton of our heroes are sitting right here in front of them, so they start recording. Tony Stark trying to offer them money, Luke Cage letting them know that if you see us hiding out, you guys should be concerned, because if the heroes are hiding, there's probably some stuff going down, and if we ask you not to record us, to delete those videos, do us a solid and just delete them. What we really learn is how charismatic Luke Cage can be, and we learned that in the last issue as well, as he tried to talk to all of the people to let them know that they are not your enemies. And Luke Cage charisma is going to end up playing a big part in this story. But moving forward and heading to Ben, aka our current Spider-Man, doing everything he can to try to fill the shoes of Peter Parker. He doubts himself every step of the way. The way he doubts himself truly reminds me of Wally West before he moved past his wanting to beat Barry Allen, of not wanting to surpass his mentor. That's really what this reminds me of, with Ben constantly being fed with that self-doubt, believing that he might not actually be able to compare himself ever to Peter Parker. But while Peter is out of commission, Ben is going to do everything he can to ensure that Spider-Man and those that look up to him are out on these streets protecting people. With Spider-Man being called out, he has no choice but to go and answer. Being led back to the Daily Bugle, with him breaking in through the window, we meet up with Whiplash and Taskmaster, and the two of them, now part of the Thunderbolts. They have been tasked with finding out the identity of Spider-Man. Wilson Fisk not having a complete dossier on him, trying to triangulate where he might be, believing that he works for the Daily Bugle. Having all of these people as hostages, they plan to complete the file on Spider-Man. And with this fight breaking out, we pick up at our prison for the superpowered criminals, picking up with Reed Richards and Sue Storm. These two being immediately arrested, and like we could expect, with two superheroes that have been thrown into jail having power dampeners on them, of course people are gonna come and they're gonna try to pick a fight, breaking up the conversation between both Reed and Sue. One of them has a shake and goes to stab Reed, only to get slammed across the face by Sue Storm. The dynamic duo beats the crap out of these guys, and then the guards come storming in, knowing that they are going to be going to solitary, telling each other to stay alive. As they kiss one another being pulled apart, we pick up at City Hall sub-basement, and what we have is the Purple Man, locked inside of this diamond. It was only rumored that Doom was able to use him for some kind of control using Killgrave. The device we see before us, it will only be able to coerce people into what they want. So this isn't technically mind control. Think of it as more of subliminal advertising, if you will. Wilson Fisk going to use this power on Doc Ock himself. Doc Ock obviously being way too smart for that. He already put stuff inside of his mind control blockers that stop him from having any persuasion over him. With his part of this plan being over, Doc Ock goes back to the Fantastic Four lab, leaving the mayor here. He doesn't need mind control. This coercion is more than enough. It is more than sufficient to do what needs to be done, with people being very easily controlled, very easily manipulated. This device is no different than spending crazy amounts of money on a campaign. But this is his weapon. This is how he wins this election, believing that the people will come out in numbers to vote for him and the protection of their Thunderbolts. And while the vigilantes are kept busy chasing after their tumbling secrets, he believes that they will all fail. They will all fall into this decades-long trap that he has been building up. And if they do not fall into it, they will scurry underground and they will go into hiding. And that's exactly what we have going on right now. With them going to the Avengers Mansion, getting into the sub-basement, they all decide it is time to have a talk with Tony Stark. Because as we learned in the last issue, he wants to be the one to run against Fisk. Tony Stark wants to be mayor of New York City. And while they all agree with this plan, they all agree that it should not be Tony Stark. because it's all a matter of optics. You have one rich dude going against another rich dude. What they want to do is truly get their point across. And while Tony Stark, he may be a hero, they are concerned he may not come out on top, with Luke Cage believing that he should run. And all of the others, they agree with this, even Captain America, believing that Luke is the right pick. His speech the other day, it inspired people. And to win an election, they need inspiration, with Luke being one of the only individuals to not wear a mask. With the world knowing their identity, they need to earn the people's trust, with all of them letting them know this isn't anything against Tony Stark. It has nothing to do with egos. This is simply about beating Mayor Fisk. Now, Tony Stark, he seems pretty cool about this, letting them know that he will have all of the funding he needs. They will ensure that this campaign is going to be a success. But as everyone walks out of the room, we see that Tony Stark, it appears that he is very cynical, very shady, very sneaky, saying that they are all in this together. But the undertone showing us that there is something more to this. And that's what takes us to Ben, aka Spider-Man, going against Taskmaster and Whiplash. And to be honest, Spider-Man is getting his butt whooped. Going against Taskmaster, arguably one of the best hand-to-hand fighters in the world. In this small enclosed room, Spider-Man stands no chance. Realizing that he can't take both of them on, he goes for the weaker one. He goes for Whiplash. Using his ego against him, he makes Whiplash charge at him. And in doing this, in his anger, Spider-Man gets the upper hand, going in and giving a devastating punch. But Taskmaster was able to get on top of him. Whiplash may be down, but Taskmaster got the upper hand, and quickly getting over to Spider-Man and dropping a collar on his neck. This dampens his powers, grabbing Spider-Man and throwing him out a window as he goes falling down, trying everything he can to stop himself, realizing his powers are gone, using his webbing. As soon as that jolt hits him, as soon as he is able to catch himself, it's more than likely going to dislocate something. But being able to break his fall, he lands crashing down on a car, with the Thunderbolt unit directly on top of him. It looks like Spider-Man is about to be arrested. Meanwhile, elsewhere, we have Doc Ock, being impervious to this persuasion, now being free from Fisk. He is working in the Fantastic Four lab. And while Fisk, he pines over this power of being mayor, Octavius knows that the true power, it lies in Reed Richards' lab, with all of his wild inventions, one of them being an interdimensional portal. And so while Fisk fights over power of a city, Octavius, he has much bigger plans. And we see Octavius is forming his own interdimensional team. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You guys already know what I'm gonna say. I have been loving what Chip Zdarsky has been doing with Daredevil, and this Marvel event is no different. And I may be a little bit critical when it comes to doing the whole Civil War idea again, but I like the direction that this one is going. I like how they're doing this, because at the end of the day, a city can implement regulations like this. They can pass bills that are just on their local level. And so if a community doesn't want any kind of vigilantism there, the voice of the people must be heard. And as it stands, it appears that the populace is at least currently agreeing with the idea of no vigilantism, with Fisk knowing that if they went head to head with him, it would only be bad optics. And so what they have to do is try to take him down politically. And their weapon is Luke Cage. Being a man who can definitely have that charisma, can be that inspiration, can show the people that they are not something to fear. And I think this is a very interesting and very fun direction to go with Luke Cage, because he is a man of the people. He is a man that would represent the people. And if anybody could be mayor, if anybody should be mayor, Luke Cage would be a prime candidate for that. And so while all of our heroes, while Wilson Fisk, they all play this game of chess, Dr. Octavius is doing his own thing, completely off to the side. It appears he is forming his own interdimensional team. And while Fisk is going for just the city, it appears Octavius has much bigger goals. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.